There is the download. Okay, leadership innovation. Download is done. Copy. Leadership innovation. Where do I place it? Paste. Replace. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, I think it should work now. Okay, it works. So where is it? StreamYard. How do I share things in StreamYard? A video file, a slide, share
There
screen
is a share option there, right, at the bottom.
in your computer, then upload a file. Let me see. 85, 85. Okay, details. Hmm, can't see it. I can't see it. 85, 85. We'll go with the download version. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Hmm. Can you see it? It's probably you're in the show. Everyone can see and hear you. I think you have to allow something.
Okay.
How can I make it larger?
I think this is the maximum size, right? So that's good.
So okay, so I'll have to go like this, right?
Correct. We are in live right now. It just is their first time. Sorry. Okay, are you ready?
Just 1 second. Okay, not yet. Start introducing yourself.
So those who are watching live, unfortunately, we're using a different platform. Sorry for the inconvenience caused. We are starting in. We are starting shortly. Thank you very much. Okay, Advocate Raman, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Almost.
Welcome to Prerona Television Canada on behalf of Global Academy of Holistic Leadership and Coaching. We're very happy that we're having our Leadership Speaker Series, episode 85. And today we'll be discussing about leadership and innovations. And we're very glad Advocate Jiaur Rahman is with us, our regular speaker and trainer. He is the CEO of IITM and adjunct faculty of Independent University. He has a lot of experience in academia and industry. He will be sharing his experience and speak more about leadership and innovations. I now invite Advocate Jia Rahman to continue his session. Thank you very much.
Just one second. Where am I on the steam yard? Okay, good morning in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and good evening in Canada and rest of the world. I think all of you can see our presentation right now. I am Advocate Ziaur Rahman, CEO of IITM and adjunct faculty with IUB. We have been doing this session for more than a year and a half, and today's session is on leadership and innovation. We have been talking about leadership from different angles, and we believe that as a professional, we have to consistently consider how to improve ourselves as human beings and how to develop our skills so that we can lead with ideas and new thought processes. So today's session is actually creating a mindset and introducing an innovation culture into the leadership design. A good leader has to be innovative, and with innovation, new ideas flow in. The overall engagement dynamics within an enterprise does well. So, today's session is building your leadership base based on developing the innovation and innovation philosophy and culture within your enterprise. So, moving forward, um, let me move to the second session slide. So normally I have some quotations. So today's quotation is by George Bernard Shaw. He says, "We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing." Interesting play of words, but what it's trying to say is that when you start to think that you have aged, or uh, when you stop innovating, or when you stop with ideas, when you get stuck with old ideas, then you don't grow anymore. It is not because we are aging, but because we have a mindset which tells us to be connected with status quo. Most people, when we grow older, we feel comfortable around status quo. There is nothing wrong with being comfortable with status quo. But what is more important is that we have to realize that the world is moving and shifting. Things are taking different dimensions. So, are we in the game? Are we understanding what is the new ecosystem that is coming forth that we need to gravitate towards? If we abstain from connecting ourselves with the new ecosystem, then technically we are going to be falling behind over a period of time. You may not notice that you're falling behind right away. You might think that you're holding on to your standards, you're holding on to the perspectives that based on which you had been running your operation, running your team. But when a shift comes in the technology space and you don't adapt to it, after a while you will see that you're losing the momentum. You will see that others have taken over the market space, others have taken over your thought, your engagement areas. Why? Because they are blending in technology, they're blending in new process, new business models are being incorporated, etc. So we might fall behind. So we must not feel that we are satisfied with what we have. So being connected to status quo might be okay for a certain time, but if you are really willing to grow your enterprise, you have to come out of that old mindset and you have to embrace the change. So we stop playing and then we grow old. That's the whole point. We stop innovating and then we fall into the trap of being an average organization, and ultimately we lose our glitter and the organization starts to falter. People lose hope, people lose energy and passion, and then we see that the great minds that were working with us have become average minds. Why? Because from a leader's point of view, you as a leader, you did not evolve. So an important quotation to hold true in our head. Moving forward, this is another quotation, just a little readjusted by me the other day. Without a struggle for innovation, there could be no advancement. This kind of puts it very clearly. If you don't innovate and if you don't have the struggle in your life, then good things will not come in your direction. If you are only happy with what you have without playing with new ideas, without extending your mindset, your horizon, your market coverage, if you want to call it that way, if you're into business domain, it can be a sociological concept as well. For example, if you can create a new pattern of thinking, if you introduce a new philosophy in life, a new perspective in life, if more people connect to it, then you will have a larger audience base, assuming you're a writer. So if you're not playing with new ideas, if you're not thinking of new strategies, new processes, new technology, new scientific innovation within the domain in which you're working, you will be out innovated by others. It could be from the context of a country, it could be from the context of an organization or a corporation. No matter what, the spirit of innovation must be dealt with on a regular basis. So if you don't have the the appetite for innovation and there is no struggle to innovate, you will fall by the wayside sooner or later, and there will be less advancement or no advancement on your part. Others will overtake you. Moving forward. So, what is this innovation we are talking about? So, this is the term I got from Wikipedia. It is the practical implementation of ideas that result in the introduction of new goods or service or improvement in offering goods or service. The other one is ISO. Uh, it says that in the standard of ISO 56000, uh, defines innovation as a new or changed entity realizing or redistributing value. So if you look at the first one, it's slightly easier. It is about creating ideas that results in new service or new products. It could be connected with technology, wisdom, knowledge, skills, etc. You're looking at things differently, you're trying things differently. That is innovation. Having the mind open to new perspective will allow you to consider new changes, will allow you to move in different directions, and those new direction setting areas might give you a better output. Not doing the mundane day-to-day thing, run-of-the-mill type of engagement will never take you to the next level. So as a professional person, as a leader, you need to tinker with new mindset, new behavioral design within the enterprise, new organizational culture you need to introduce. This does not mean that every day you are coming up with new changes that might unsettle the enterprise at the same time. So, what you need to do is build a culture within your enterprise, suggesting that we want to incorporate new challenges, we want to bring in new ideas. So, the fear of failure should be reduced. And when the fear of failure is reduced, more innovation takes place within an enterprise. So that's the culture we have to focus upon. Next one. This is a statement of fact. This is by McKinsey, a global leader in strategy and research consultancy. They're saying that uh, McKinsey research reveals a wide gap between the aspirations of executives to innovate and their ability to execute. Organizational structures and processes are not the solution. So, what they're suggesting is that we talk about organization and process design all the time in management, and we focus heavily that once you have the organizational design set up and the structure ready, things will flow fluidly and nicely within that enterprise, and that enterprise will be more efficient in running operations. which is true up to a certain point. But given a period of certain time, things are moving in such fast speed around you that sometimes you have to break the organizational culture, you have to break the organizational structure and redesign and redeploy the new processes because the engagement dynamics amongst the competitors have changed, amongst your employee base has changed, new technology has come in which you must introduce within your enterprise. Otherwise, there is an every opportunity for you to fail in the coming days. So you have to constantly revise the structure and look at the opportunity space so that you can deliver the right set of solution, a value added solution to your customer base. So this is the dilemma that every employee or every executive goes through in his or her lifetime. How much of your time would you be actually engaged in managing the administrative and the status quo oriented function, and what percentage would be actually open to new ideas? And can you, as a professional, accommodate these two concepts together while not being confused? This is a very challenging scenario, especially in today's market space when the markets are dynamically changing and adapting to new issues. So it's amazing a situation that we are looking into in today's world market. For example, I'll slightly add an example which might blow your mind, but which is an interesting addition in today's global economy. We know virtual reality, right? These days, the the animal farms, especially the cattle farms, the dairy farms, the cows are being placed with virtual reality goggles, and in for some time, and this has been translated into giving more milk in their udders. So when the the milk is being taken out of the others, these cows are wearing virtual reality glasses, and the virtual reality is showing the nature. It seems like the cow is in the nature, right? So amazing the new changes in technology that is being applied in the domain of the dairy field, which nobody ever thought of, but somehow somebody probably experimented with it, and they have come up with the connectivity with virtual reality support for a cow, and the milk levels from the cow has risen, and these are proven and based on number of experimentation that they have done. So what is happening is the new world that we are seeing these days are so dynamically altering the way we ought to be working that we don't know how, if we don't know how to accommodate these new ideas and new models, then not only technologically we'll be behind, that will have a very significant consequence on our economic activities, our efficiency matrix, and our own internal business ecosystem will be having difficulty because we are using old mundane processes where the world is moving in a different domain. So very, very interesting. For example, industrial robots are going to be coming in a large scale in the global market space. So any organization that is not thinking of the innovation model, they're not thinking of the industrial revolution 5.0 model, will actually fall behind. So these are challenges as a leader we have to take on. It's not just guiding and directing people with highfalutin motivation. We have to be also centered around the knowledge space and how we can accommodate and incorporate the knowledge into our markets. That is absolutely vital for our success. Moving forward, what is leadership in the context of innovation? Leadership can be viewed from the angle of how effective a person is in terms of innovation and creativity. This goes without saying. If you are a leader and if you truly want to lead, especially in the business domain, then innovation and creativity should be two important ingredients that you should be connected with on a daily basis. If innovation culture is present in your organization, there is every possibility that as a band of leaders, everybody will try to develop a system, an ecosystem by which they would be taking their organization to the next level. And how does innovation come about? It is by having more creatively inspired people within your enterprise. So your talent management hunt should be focused heavily on exploring creative people so that they engage in the innovation culture. And that's how the leadership structure within your enterprise grows from being an average entity to becoming a superior organization. So this perspective must be taken into uh, cognizance, taken into consideration in a very strong way, so that you actually create meaningful change in within your enterprise. Moving forward, this is like the issue of how do you design the innovation network. You're designing and implementing and managing an innovation network. What is at play? What are the factors or what are the influencers in this game for innovation design? Number one, you have to have people who are idea generators. So when you are deploying your people, you must know what are the areas where you really need people with ideas, people who can immediately fix things around, people with high common sense, people who can look at things differently from normal people. So the idea generators would be having the mindset of a scientist per se. Then you must have a group of people who are research oriented, that who understands research, who plays with numbers, who looks at data and tries to make sense out of it. So these are the people who would be experimenting with issues and look at different ways of moving about with whatever product or service that you're planning to roll out. Then comes the people who would be experts in a particular domain. You will also need experts in your enterprise if you want to grow a large and profitable or very effective an enterprise. So experts will create these models which will probably work well because they are experts in their field, and they can challenge, they can be challenged by external experts, but since they are experts in their own rights, they will produce the right combination of product or the right product output or the right service that they will roll out would be effective because have gained a level of expertise and they're confident with their product or service. And then the last one are the producers, who would be the ones who would be the most you know active people within the enterprise. They will have a little bit of all three of these components, but mostly they will be engaged in the spirit of creating these things. So they would be more of a hands-on type of producers that would really put these ingredients together and create the output that you have been designing. So these people would be leaders in their own rights with knowledge space to actually put certain things together so as to get something out of the system. So when your enterprises are looking at new people starting from today, you have to start thinking at the back of your mind, how do you want to shape your enterprise forward? What would be your product areas? Will you be in that particular field, or would you like to expand? If you feel that there is an opportunity for expansion, or you really want to move out or move into additional domains of knowledge and in terms of new product line and service line, then you must be gripping, grabbing these four components of people who would create your new enterprise. So if we, as organization, if we want to innovate as a leader, we must accommodate and incorporate a sensible within a sensible timeline these type of people so that we can put the enterprise in the right direction. If you take too long, then other organizations will actually overtake you, and in spite of the fact that you might have the cash, you might have the intention, but you did not push forward with the right level of support. Maybe the number of producers and leaders were less in number within your enterprise. You had more experts, you had researchers, you had great idea generators, but you didn't get the other set of people who would be incorporating all these issues and overcome the challenges to create the new product or service. So leaders must be cognizant. Leaders must know what type of engagement dynamics that you should be deploying in order for the enterprise to move forward. These are vital issues for success as leaders. So I would be suggesting you to think in these terms so that when you are designing your enterprise into the next level, think of these components and build your people based on these components. And it's very hard to convert someone from being an expert to a researcher to an idea generator or to a producer, but there could be people with a number of these ingredients within themselves. Find and pick one or two and engage them in those two components so that either they can be a very good idea generator and maybe a little bit of researcher, or maybe a great researcher and a little bit of expert, or a great expert and a little bit of producer, or a combination of any of these two. So that would be your leadership strategy to move your enterprise forward. Moving forward, I have come to the end of my presentation. I normally have a $1 million question. So today's question is, can you simply rely on setting up a dynamic innovation network and expect sustained performance? I would say no, because the creating the innovation network is a constant, regular process. You don't have a one-off type of engagement that for the next 6 months we are going to create a dynamic innovation network and let that innovation network work on its own and create the next level of enterprise. It will not work. You have to have the sustained effort in ensuring that the dynamic network works fluidly, effectively, with the right set of support base. So if you want to create an innovation network, remember I talked about the four types of people that you have to engage in. You start thinking, you should start thinking of how to engage these four types of people, keep them motivated, provide them the leadership focus, give them the opportunity to fail, but at the same time give them the opportunity to correct themselves in quick timeline, and create the culture of trust and create an environment where people feel confident that even if they fail, they will not be rebuked at. Then you are in the game for creating a sustained dynamic enterprise that will move from a period to period by solving more puzzles, introducing new ideas, and again reframing the enterprise and creating another ecosystem of innovation culture and innovation network, and move from year to year. In today's marketplace, an enterprise moving from year to year without altering anything is also very difficult. So, as a leader, as a professional, as a person who is in charge of innovation network, you need to tinker with these innovation almost on a 3 to 6 month timeline, so that any new challenges, any new technology, any new adaptations to technology you can incorporate in your products and services. And that way you can actually engage in sustained performance. So the quick answer is you cannot just set up an innovation network and expect it to work for eternity. You need to tinker with it, you need to develop it, and you need to fluidly work with your team so that the culture is there, the motivations are there, the knowledge space, the resource, all of it are seamlessly working. And then you would probably have a sustained performance. And as a leader, that is the entire responsibility, not just for you as the CEO, but also a team based environment where you are creating a second line of defense that needs to be also uh, stressed upon and articulated. You have to grow your leadership succession planning at the same time. So, with that, I would like to end my session and thank you very much, Edward Proby Mondol, and the audience who are listening in to us. We shall be returning to you with another topic next week. I'm signing off. I'm Advocate Ziorman, CEO of IITM and adjunct faculty with Independent University. Good evening and stay blessed. And let us put an end to war. Let us promote more more uh, democracy and peace building exercises around the world. Let's not fight. Let's solve the problem together and make the world a harmonious place. Thank you very much. Back to you, Edward Proby Mondol.
All right. Thank you. On behalf of Global Academy of Holistic Leadership and Coaching and Prerona Television Canada, I would like to thank Advocate Jiaur Rahman for your wonderful session and sharing with us leadership and innovation. With that, we end our episode 85 of Leadership Speaker Series, and we welcome you to uh, watch our next session, which is coming next week. And thank you very much for being with us. Let's work together to make the better world, like Advocate Jiaur Rahman has already mentioned. Stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you.